I pulled my suitcase from the airport. I pulled it to the arrival side, to the parking side. I looked to the cars. I was like, my family didn't know, but I almost died in that hotel. The police took me. They were 4 men. We reached down. I'm now banned like completely to go back to that country. At the main street. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Darcy Jenny, and if it is your first time coming across this channel, I'm sharing my journey coming from abroad and starting life all over again. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for the love and support. So in today's video, I'll be sharing my story of being banned and deported in Turkey. So I was in Uganda and I got this deal of going to Turkey to work. There was a Turkish woman who was giving us some jobs in Turkey and taking us, and you pay your ticket. He would process for you visa and everything, then you buy for yourself a ticket. So I joined, I did the interview, I passed the interview, and it was time to go to Turkey. I was so excited to go in Turkey. Yes, Turkey is a beautiful country anyway, guys. If you have never been there, very good, guys. For tour, for holidays, yeah, it is a very beautiful country. Anyway, guys, so I reached in Turkey. My bosses welcomed me very well. We were happy. Then when we reached at home, the place that I was going, we went to her mommy's place. I already found there 4 Ugandan girls and other different countries. We were 8 people in the house. So guys, we stayed there, we worked, the work was going on nicely. So everything was going on perfect. My boss was loving me so much, and me, like, there is a way how we connected and everything was so perfect. So later, because her mom and the dad, they shifted. By the way, they were rich people. They shifted from the town because of COVID, Corona, and they went far places in the village. They used to call it like garden house. They went far in the garden house where they built a house and they used to stay that side. And that's where we were all of us. So we stayed there like three weeks. And later my bosses, they had to travel to Ankara. That is where her place was. So we reached there. The place was not so bad. She had 2 children, of which the children were good, and the parents loved me so much. Like everything was going on so nicely. So after I went in December time, then in Feb, that's when the police came in the house and they rang the bell, and I went to open the bell. They won't open the door, and I saw on the door camera, I saw the police. So I ran to my boss. I say, I'm seeing the police there at the door. She was like, I know, they want to take you. I was like, what did I do? She was like, they will explain you. I cannot explain to you all this, but they will explain to you. So she was like, go quickly and dress up. So I went and dressed up, and she was like, pack your bags. I packed my bag. She came and helped me and also gave me some clothes. And she was like, it is okay, everything will be fine. I tried to talk to your agent, but she refused. She was like, you have to go. I said, what did I do? Because at that moment, I didn't know what I have done or what I did. So she was like, no, calm down. It is okay, everything will be fine. So my boss was like, don't obey the police. You have to pack your things and go. So I was still confused. I was like, what did I do? What is happening? Please explain to me. So I packed my things. She helped me pack, and I left. I left her crying. She hugged me. She gave me some money. She was like, when you reach at the airport, you will buy something to eat for yourself. I was like, airport? What did she mean? What is she saying? Airport? today I woke up very well. I dressed up. I want to start work. I was like, what did I do? I was confused. Why is she telling me airport? So the police took me. There were 4 men. We reached down. We sat in the car. I sat in the back side. Between the police sits on the left side and the other one on the right side, and the other one in the front, and the driver. We drove from Ankara almost 13 hours to Istanbul airport. So we reached Istanbul airport where we found the agent, and she was like, okay, welcome. And this is, and she started explaining to me. She was like, you wanted to run away from your job, you're making groups and you want to make other people run away. I say, me? No, impossible, because the family I am in, or my boss, my employers, they are so nice to me and I'm so nice to them. I don't think, maybe you're mistaken with me or something. She was like, you, I have your name. I was like, who told you? She said, me, I know, I already have you. I was like, wow, what next now? I felt like I didn't know what to do at that time. I was like, what should I do? So she told me, come. Already she had my passport. We moved to we went to the check-in. She's the one who checked in for me, and they put the stamp, and they removed everything, the biometrics and everything, and they put the stamp. And she was like, oh, you have been disturbing me, you want to spoil my job, so it's now time to go back to your country and you will never come back again. When I heard those words, I was like, wow. Me myself, I came to hustle. I didn't know what I have done. Guys, it was a bad experience for me, because I felt like maybe it is done. Maybe God doesn't want me to travel or something. How can I reach in the country where I've just stayed 2 months and I'm now banned? No, I'm now banned. Sorry. Sorry, guys. And I'm now banned. No, I'm now banned like completely to go back to that country. They moved me. Guys. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. So we finished the check-in and we had to wait. When I crossed the place, I reached the other side. There were also other people that were in the same situation with me. So we talked a little bit, but of course, even if we talk for you, you yourself, you know what you're going through. I didn't have any money. I didn't have anything, but my boss had given me money at that moment. So she had given me some dollars. She was like, when you reach at your airport, you will change the money. But me, I didn't know what she was meaning at that moment. So you may be asking yourself, why were you deported? Why were you banned? I didn't know at that moment, because she was like, the woman was like, they gave me your names that you wanted to run away from your work. So my boss was so angry, because she had experiences of putting some girls in at work and they ran away. Most of them, that they could leave the children in the house alone. Their bosses have gone to work, they leave the children, and they run away. So sometimes children fall from the building and they fall down, which was dangerous, and some of of the employers started to sue the agent. So she was angry at that moment. She never wanted to hear any explanation. Even my boss tried to explain and beg her, please leave the girl, leave the girl. She's okay. We have been good. We have never seen any problem. We have never had any problem with her. Please leave her. She was like, no. So I went into the plane. I never knew what I was thinking. I was so depressed. I was so stressed. Oh my God, that I will never forget that day in my life. But at least I was like, maybe God want to give me something else. But again, I was like, no, I think this thing of hustling and traveling is not for me. So I reached at the airport. We traveled, then I reached at the airport in Uganda, Kampala. When I reached at the airport, now I was like, where should I go? I didn't tell my parents because at that moment, we have brothers. At that moment, my brothers were disturbing my mom, and my mom had pressure, and her pressure was rising, and she was also sick. I remember before being banned, before coming back, she was talking to me that I'm very sick. Maybe I might die. So I was so scared to come and again and tell her my situations. So I reached at the airport. I was like, where should I go? How can I start life? I pulled my suitcase from the airport. I pulled it to the arrival side, to the parking side. I looked to the cars. I was like, who can even take me? I moved myself, putting the car, and I reached the other side of Chitoro on the main street. When I reached at the main street, I stopped the taxi. And I was like, I'm going to Mukono. I didn't know anyone in Mukono. But I talked to my friend. I was like, where should I go? She was like, maybe you can go to Mukono. I have there a house, but it is unfinished. Please stay there. So I I I went into the taxi. We moved to Kampala. Then I got another taxi. I went to Mukono. I started looking with my suitcase. I started looking for the hotel where I can stay. I found a hotel, and they said you have to pay every day. So my boss had given me money. Remember, so when I reached the airport, I exchanged. After exchanging, I paid for 3 weeks. I was like, please God, be there for me. I didn't tell, even my family didn't know. But I almost died in that hotel. Okay? I'm so sorry, it is so emotional. But I'm like, let me talk about it. Maybe I can heal. So I reached in the hotel, stayed. I couldn't eat. I was like, God, why? I was praying to go to Turkey. Now you gave me Turkey. I never reached 2 months. Now you bring me back. What should I do? So I started fasting. I was like, I will fast. Even if it is not to eat for 7 days, I will not eat. So I stayed. I stayed. Sorry. So along the way, I'm in that hotel. My boss contacted me and she was like, whatever case it may take, I'm going to bring you back. I was like, thank you. Now I say, okay, I have some hope. I will go back. I started to continue praying and fasting. Then later she sent me some document to go to the embassy. So after she sent me the document, I wanted to go like tomorrow. Now I went to the toilet and my phone went into the toilet. Now again I'm like, what is this? Why am I suffering all this? Remember, I have an appointment to go to the embassy, but now my phone has fallen into the pit. Sorry, guys. I think I'm okay now. So after my phone falling into the pit, the toilet pit, so I got the manager's hotel, the small, she gave me a phone and I contacted my boss. I was like, my phone fell into the pit. I don't know what I can do. So she was like, don't worry, I will send you money and you buy a small phone. So she was really good. So she sent me money. I bought a new phone and she sent me back the papers that I wanted to take to the embassy. So the following day, I photocopied the papers and I went to the embassy and we started the process. Remember, I was banned not to go back to Turkey. So, but my boss's family, they were rich people. So she was like, I will do whatever it takes for you to come back. So she processed everything and within, like I stayed in Uganda like 2 months. So then after my visa was out, immediately she asked me, she was like, where are you planning to come back? I was like, I want to come this evening. Please book on today evening. She was like, why are you so fast? So she was like, okay, tomorrow. So tomorrow she sent me the ticket. Remember, all those time I didn't tell anyone in my family. They didn't know anything. So after I traveled again back to Turkey, they received me very well. Everything was now normal. I was happy again. When I reached, my boss was like, when we had to put a lawyer to remove the ban, and it costed a lot of money. So if you were to pay, you have to work for almost like 1 year without getting money. But since you have been with us and you're good and we know you're going to pay 5 months and we are going to forgive you the other 7, the other 6, the other 6. So I was like, okay, thank you. I have no problem as long as I'm here and I will work and you're good people. So I started working and she was like, I'll pay you this month, then the next month I will take it, which was okay because she knew I also needed some money for myself. So I worked for them 1.5 years. I finished the payment, the debt, and I started saving for myself. So I worked like for 1.5 years, and later I decided to go to Istanbul. Because Istanbul, if you get your job for yourself, it is a little bit earning more than the job that the agent got you. So I was like, why not? So I went to Istanbul and it was another life of finding a house and paying rent and a lot of challenges. which was okay because I was learning how to do this, how to do that. So I stayed in Istanbul and looked for the job. I went to Chabuk Chabuk factory. I went to nanny job. I did all the job, hotel, dishwashing. Oh my, I'm a hustler. I did every job in Turkey. So then after I stayed like, from that time I stayed like almost 2 years, and I had my working permit until I applied again and they rejected me. So when they rejected me, I was like, oh, it is what it is. I will start to do hide and seek. So I stayed without papers, but at that time the country didn't have any problem with foreigners being without any document. So I stayed. There was even other people who didn't have at that moment. So we stayed. I stayed and worked, but later they were like, oh, the country was like, the foreigners are too many, so we need to reduce them. So they started chasing for the foreigners and the police taking them for almost 2 years. I was lucky for all those 2 years, I was not being caught until last year, 2025, in December, when I was caught. I was just moving and I was working in a different city. I came to Istanbul to rest because I had there my house where I could rest. And I was like, let me go to the salon, cut my hair on Monday. I remember I came on Friday. I want to rest Saturday, Sunday, then Monday I go back work. So on Saturday I was like, let me go cut my hair and do some tinting, and then I will come back. I will come back, then on Monday I prepare myself and go back to work. Guess what? I went onto the train, and when the train stopped, I'm coming out of the train. I was moving like I didn't put my head up. I was moving like this, and immediately I stopped in the front of two police women, and they touched me and they were like, "Hey, Kemrik passport." And when you hear that word when you're in Turkey, you're like, "Oh, I'm finished. It is done." So when they said Kemrik passport, I was like, I had a small bag. I started checking in my bag as if I had my passport and I had my expired working permit. I started to check as if I have the papers. So I started to check as if I have. They were already expired. They got expired like two years ago. So I started to check in my pocket. But then they were like, Gabriel. So they took me, because where I was, it was like a channel etau. So I was like, should I jump and fall down in those cars? Should I run? My heart was like, no, don't make anything. So they took me to the car. Remember, they are doing control, and their cars are down. So when they get someone who doesn't have the document, immediately they take you to the car. They keep piling until the car is full, and they take you to the deportation center. So I reached in the car. There were other two men. I saw them. They had tied their arms. They were handcuffed. I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm in. Remember, I had woke up very early so that I can reach at the station when they are not arrived. But unfortunately, they were already there. So I was feeling sleepy because I woke up very early. I went into the car. I was like, okay, this is what I'm in. I started to sleep because I was feeling sleep. I slept on their chairs, on the car chairs. So, and other policemen, they are in front guarding you. They were like, why are you sleeping? I was like, what can I do? I'm sleeping, but then I'm not sleeping. I'm sleeping. I want to go to that toilets to make a short call. Like I could come and sit 2 minutes. I want to go to the toilet. I will come and sit. They say, "What's wrong with you?" I say, "I'm sick. I don't know even what was wrong with me." So I think maybe the fear. So after they took me to the deportation center, they did everything. At last, I went inside the deportation center. I don't want to call it a prison, but it is like a prison because you're rejected so many things. You're not free. You don't have any freedom. Oh my God! And that place was so, I don't know how I can explain it, because they could bring so many, there were so many different countries, like the whole world, even the countries I've never heard of, they were there. So they could bring even women with babies are crying, people are crying, people are collapsing, oh my God. The situation at the deportation center, it was not easy. So when you reach, they ask you, do you want to go back to your country or you want to stay here? Me, I was like, oh no. I was at first, before I was still at the entrance. I was like, no, I want to stay here. Because already I had plans for 2026 and my house was not finished. I was like, no, I have to finish my house and at least save money for my business. So I was like, okay, let me say I want to stay, maybe within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I will be out. Ah, so you're giving yourself positive energy. So we reached, and when I reached inside, that's when I say, oh, I don't think I will manage to stay here. You see babies crying, you see old people crying, you see old people who are supposed to be your grandmoms. Eh, even when you're hungry, you have to wait. They say, come and eat. Phone call, you have to be fast call. Like everything is made. But the good thing, they give you food, they give you everything, but it's on time. You have to be locked up and they open, please, it's time for this, it's time for this. So I stayed at the deportation center almost 2 months. But that place frustrated me. I was so depressed. That's where I decided, I was like, let me go back. Even when my house is unfinished, I will stay like that. Because now I was not okay. But I say, let me go back and start life over again. So I came back. I reached at the airport. I didn't even have, when you decide to say you want to go back to your country, they buy you a ticket, and if you have luggage outside, they wait for you. You bring your luggage. Someone brings your luggage, and you will go with your luggage. So I waited. I got my luggage, and I was like, okay, it is time. We have to go. But this time around, I was communicating with my family. I explained everything to them. They were aware. So I came and I reached at the airport, and I didn't have any money to bring me here in my house. So I contacted one of my friends. I was like, I'm in this situation. She was, because already she knew when she saw me, I'm offline. She knew, because when we were going to the deportation center, they take everything, phones, gadgets, everything. So she was like, it is okay. She sent me some money. So we had come with other girls that didn't have also money. So I paid the car to bring me here. So of which I was like, okay, you can also come in the car so that we can drop you where you're going. So even the tax man was so nice, and she was like, I will drop them. They dropped them on my, remember it is me who had paid, but I was like, let's help them and take them, because they were also struggling like me, same situation. So we dropped them where they were going, and I also came here. So when I reached here again, that's where life started also to hit me. Remember, the house, it is not finished. I don't have any mattress inside. I don't have any cup. The house is dirty, everywhere paint, everywhere dust, everywhere mud. But I was like, God, the God that has brought me this far, He would not leave me to die here. So I cleaned one of the room and I dressed the like three clothes because the house was too cold. Now I put a small bed cover, like a small bed sheet, and I started to sleep down. Then later my neighbor, that's when she saw me, she came to say hello to me and she gave me a blanket. And I put a blanket, I bought some pillows, I removed those pillows. I think guys, you have watched those videos. If you haven't watched those videos from where I started, you can go and check them out. Yeah, so that was it. That's how life was. And right now, I would say I'm so grateful, and I know this is making me stronger and stronger because every day and whenever I get this problem, there is some things I'm learning. Because before I was so weak. Even when I get a small problem, I'll start crying. I'll start thinking, how will I come out of this? But now these problems had made me to be strong and be positive and know that I will get out of this. So indeed, God has been faithful from the start, and I have been here alone. And people, ever since I started post my videos, people have come through. I didn't even had any money to buy food, but people have helped me a lot. So guys, that's how life is. And if you have watched this channel if you have watched this video up to this time, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I post any new videos. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate, and I'll say bye-bye.